Welcome to the stage, Mr. Sam Patel. The very funny Sam Patel with a type 5.
It's a type 5.
It's a type 5.
Type 5. No one knows what I do, so you're fine. Hi, happy Pride, everyone. Yes, I happen to be a homosexual. Woo, or as my aunties like to say, waiting for the right girl. I am dating a white male back there. Everyone can look at him and applause and make him uncomfortable. And I realize I'm starting to lose my identity a little bit because I'm starting to talk like a white person. I realized this the other day when I was leaving a restaurant and I turned to my friend and I said, "Shall we?" Like on work calls, when people ask me how I'm doing, I regularly say, "Living the dream!" That's a new development. And I understand, like, when you date people, you kind of pick up their mannerisms, right? But this feels like a hate crime because my ancestors fought the British for independence, and now my vocabulary is being colonized. So, you know, I'm always like, "Ryan, do you need anything from Target?" It's not great. It's just like stuck in me. On my way up to the stage, I had to stop myself from saying like, "Ooh, can I scooch right by you?" You know? And I'm like fully evolving into the final evolution. I'm becoming a white woman. My Succession binges have become Gilmore Girl binges. I, in all seriousness, have in my Etsy shopping cart a candle that says "Mom's Last Nerve." So I think it's terminal. I majored in theater. Anyone else at a gay cabaret? No? But I also studied biology because I couldn't imagine going to Indian weddings and dealing with aunties being like, "Waiting for the right major," you know? I got a lot out of double majoring. I think the best thing I got was to not make a decision for 4 years. I'm like aggressively indecisive. Well, no, I'm like assertively indecisive. It's a little more passive. Passively indecisive. You know, when people ask me what my favorite color is, I'm like, glitter! Or if someone asks me what my favorite book is, I'm like, ChatGPT! Or if someone asks me if I'm a top or a bottom, I'm like, I'm actually an independent. No, I'm a top. I figured that out. It's trial and error. All right, so I'm going to end with my coming out story. Yeah, because nothing to end the comedy set with like a depressing little kid. I was really depressed growing up. I think everyone that is queer feels the otherness, but I think I particularly loved my parents and knew they would be disappointed that I was gay. And the other thing that made me really sad was I love Indian weddings. Has anyone here been to an Indian wedding? Okay, well, there's a billion of us, so make a friend. I don't know. Like a sad number of people. Has anyone here been to a wedding? Yeah! So you do go out and touch grass, great. Yeah, and Indian weddings have this tradition called a barat, where a groom sits on a horse and there's this big parade to the wedding. And it's just so much fun because there's the anticipation of the wedding, there's like the joyousness of just like, there's always a horse or an elephant that the groom's sitting on, and everyone's drunk and it's just like so much fun. And I knew that I wasn't gonna have that because I wasn't gonna get married, and it just like weighed on me. So when I came out to my parents, I was anticipating the full, we're disappointing in you, this is over, whatever. And I said, "Mom, Dad, I'm gay." And I sat in what felt like an eternity of silence. And my mom turned to me and said, Samihan, will you have 2 parades? And I realized in that moment I should have never been worried about them being disappointed that I'm gay, but I should have always been worried about them being disappointed by how much more expensive my gay Indian weddings are. All right, thank you everyone.